Welcome to Unraveled with Marvi Sirmed. Tonight we are not talking about war. Not drones, not terrorism, nor bombs, not barbed wires across borders. Tonight we are talking about something far more insidious, something that slips past visa counters and diplomatic courtesies. It burrows into exiled communities and shakes the very ground beneath the idea of sanctuary. This last week, the UK Parliament released a searing new report, quietly, almost without any fanfare, naming 12 countries accused of harassing, threatening, and surveilling their own citizens who now live in Britain. Among them, Pakistan and India. Yes, two countries that speak often of democracy, justice, rule of law, whenever that suits them, whenever it's about the other. Two nations that have long battled over narrative control at home. They are now being accused of exporting repression abroad. But what does transnational repression actually mean? What is the evidence? Who are the targets? How have the governments of Pakistan and India responded? And what could this mean for their already fragile reputations on the global stage? This isn't just we're not talking about just a legal report. We are holding a mirror. And in that mirror, we might just see what our own democracies are becoming, where fear has become portable and dissent has become a crime without borders. What happened was the Joint Committee on Human Rights, JCHR, which is a bicameral body appointed by the UK House of Commons and House of Lords, it ordered its seventh report for the session of 2024-25. The report was titled Transnational Repression in the UK, and it was ordered on 16th of July, 2025, and formally published on 30th of July, just last week, 5-6 days ago. During the course of its work on the report, the committee received written and oral evidence from civil society, activists, diaspora individuals, legal experts, to investigate how foreign states allegedly intimidate dissidents in the UK. So the report aimed to document credible instances of state-sponsored intimidation, surveillance, threats, harassment, or worse, collectively referred to as transnational repression, TNR. And usually TNR as carried out by foreign governments, foreign to UK, foreign governments targeting individuals on, these individuals which I described above, the dissidents, targeting those dissidents on UK soil. The purpose was to assess the UK government's capacity to protect vulnerable communities and to propose policy and legislative measures to address identified gaps. Now, the major findings included one, that there has been a substantial rise in MI5 investigations related to suspected foreign threat activity. It was up 48% in the past year, 2024-25. The second was that Iran, China, and Russia were identified as the most flagrant perpetrators, including assassination attempts, threats, and surveillance of diaspora critics. While not as acute as those three, credible evidence also implicated India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Rwanda, UAE, Turkey, Egypt, and Eritrea in more limited but still serious cases of intimidation, which included low-level harassment or digital pressure as well. The names of the countries in, in descending orders. I take the name in descending orders of the seriousness of the level of repression committed by them is as follows. China, Russia, Iran, India, number 4. China, number 1. Number 2, Russia. Number 3, Iran. Number 4, India. Number 5, Pakistan. Then Saudi Arabia, Rwanda, Turkey, UAE, Eritrea, Egypt, and in the end, Bahrain. These are the 12 countries that were identified as the perpetrators of transnational repression, TNR, on UK soil. Now, the reports, during the course of investigation, the committee received written submissions from UK-based activists affiliated with, now, this is India specific. So, those who sent the testimonies and submissions were mostly affiliated with Sikh for Justice, SFJ, which is a proscribed Khalistani group, proscribed in India, alleging Indian government of surveilling them, intimidating them, coercing them, and disrupting their activities in the UK. Authorities were accused of misusing Interpol mechanism. Authorities in India were accused of misusing, the Interpol mechanisms to press for extradition or red notices against the activists living in the UK. These activists were mainly, Indian dissidents mainly in the UK are from the pro-Khalistani groups. So this particular submission was made by SFJ, Sikhs for Justice. Now, coming to Pakistan, the evidence included commentary on Pakistan's digital repression tactics, including misuse of 2016 Prevention of, PECA Act, Prevention of Electronic Crimes, Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act, PECA, PECA, to intimidate exiled critics while via, online harassment and reputational attacks on their credibility. Though fewer detailed case studies were visible, Pakistan was among the countries for which credible testimony was received. It was, they were fewer in number, but they were there. And these case studies indicated harassment and coercion towards dissidents based in the UK. Now, the report recommended certain actions for the UK government. It urged the UK government to, for example, strengthen protections for at-risk individuals, including safer reporting mechanisms and redress create other redressal options. It also called for enhanced diplomatic measures, prioritizing transnational repression concerns in bilateral and multilateral relations. It also recommended tightening Interpol oversight so that it cannot be misused, as was alleged by the pro-Khalistan Sikh groups. It also recommended expanding the Foreign Influence Registration Scheme, FIRS. For example, to include China and similar actors. Eritrea, there were so many complaints against Eritrea as well. And also, it recommended raising asylum standards to protect genuine targets of coercion, so that the asylum granting provisions are not misused by imposters or opportunists. Although the report did not single out, discrete, tailored recommendations for Pakistan and India, they fall implicitly under broader suggested reforms for all the countries that were identified. As far as the reaction of the report in Pakistan and India is concerned, I did not see Indian media reporting it so much, but Indian Ministry of External Affairs, MEA, it strongly rejected the report. It issued a, specific statement responding to this, calling these allegations baseless, unverified, also rooted in dubious and discredited sources, and politically motivated, obviously. The media sources who actually, they didn't cover this report, they just covered they covered the response of the by the MEA. So it just echoed the government line, and emphasized that um, many sources that the report cites, for example, SFJ, were proscribed and have a history of anti-India hostility and were violent, etc., etc., etc. Coming to Pakistan, Pakistani official reaction was less visible in major outlets, but media coverage, and actually, I must mention here, I did not see this report covered by any Pakistan-based, media outlet. The only media outlets, couple of them, who covered this report and reported that Pakistan was also mentioned in this report as a perpetrator of TNR. Now, these media outlets were Indian media outlets. Uh, for example, what comes to mind is India Tribune, which is based in Chicago. Now, it mainly covers India-specific news. Now, this media outlet covered this and only named Pakistan, completely forgetting about that. Forgetting about India was also part of the list, and actually, in the seriousness, it is above Pakistan. Um, and there are a couple others, but they are not Pakistan based. They're not Pakistani media outlets. So in Pakistani media outlets, it was largely ignored. Journalists did not report it. The India Tribune and a couple of others, Indian news outlets, they noted that report. They alleged the escalation of transnational TNR, transnational repression, was increased in Pakistan, and exiled critics are being targeted in UK, and framed it as a serious concern around cyber repression tactics employed by Pakistan, completely ignoring the India's part in it. As said, Pakistani mainstream sources, they have not issued they have not covered it, and Pakistani government has not issued a formal rebuttal in the same forceful way as India did. But activists on the UK soil, Pakistani origin activists in UK, they are featured as raising, on social media, as raising alarm over state-linked online intimidation, especially on UK soil. Abroad generally, there are some activists based in other European countries and in the USA who have been raising this issue. But this particular report, since it is it targets only the TNR on UK soil. So we are talking about the Pakistani dissidents in UK. Now, if we look at the potential impact on the domestic and other policies. So talking about India, this kind of strong state rejection suggests that limited immediate legal or policy change can be expected. I mean, effectively no policy change. However, the attention on TNR could pressure Indian diaspora communities and, create diplomatic discomfort as well. if we talk about the geopolitical or diplomatic fallout, these findings may strengthen existing international scrutiny, especially in Western capitals, regarding allegations of India's interference abroad. May I remind you that Canada has been quite vocal on that, joined by America later on, having previously fueled, crises in on their soil. These allegations may further strain India-UK or India-US relations if not addressed via dialogue and transparency. Now, coming to Pakistan, less immediate pressure appears. However, activists and diaspora groups may leverage the report to demand stronger digital safeguards and international legal scrutiny, potentially catalyzing civil society-driven calls for PECA reforms, which might not happen considering the situation in Pakistan, which has tilted heavily in favor of the military, especially the army chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, who has not who never hid his repulsion of social media and his propensity to censor social media and free speech. Right now, it's looking at what is happening in Pakistan post India's attack in May. The entire milieu is in favor of Field Marshal Asim Munir and the military establishment overall. Journalists, media outlets, civil society, no one is ready to overly criticize, although these things are being talked about and objected upon by the dissidents who are not based in Pakistan. And they have been raising their strong voice, your host of this show included. Among the, if there are any geopolitical implications, less overtly confrontational than India's rebuff. The report places Pakistan among states reporting domestic repression tools overseas. Now, this in a not as serious way as India's, and we have seen the TNR cases in which Pakistan was blamed back in 2019, 2020, 21, even 2022. But after that, this has been, overtaken by the whispers about India more than Pakistan. Now, this aligns with global concerns as Pakistan seeks to contain reputational damage amid heightened regional tension and ongoing, conflict with India, and the new equation which Pakistan has found. New security calculus and its new place that Islamabad finds itself vis-a-vis India, which is Islamabad, I think, feels encouraged by the international attention the positive international attention it has been getting ever since India attacked it in last May. So what happens next? When the UK Parliament's Joint Committee on Human Rights publishes a report like this, it's not just a filing exercise. It's a formal call to the government for action, to the UK government. Now, the government is expected to issue a written response within 2 months, addressing the committee's findings and recommendations. In this case, the deadline is around 30th of September, this coming September. That response may include plans for, whatever response the UK government gives to the Parliamentary Committee. It may include plans for policy change, legislative amendments, diplomatic engagement with these 12 countries which have been named by the report, etc. Meanwhile, the advocacy groups, civil society organizations, and effective diaspora communities may use the report to push for greater protection on UK soil, uh, stronger protection mechanisms, stronger accountability, etc. Parliamentary debates or questions are another venue, another opportunity that could follow, putting pressure on the ministers, on the government to clarify the UK stance on foreign repression, on TNR, on these any of these, all of these, or any of these 12 countries. So the next steps to watch are quite clear in my view. Will the UK act on these recommendations? Will there be stronger protections for exiled dissidents? And will India and Pakistan be held, or any other country be held diplomatically accountable, or continue to dismiss the concerns outright, like India has done with Canada and USA? Now, these are the questions we must follow closely in the coming weeks, and we will keep doing this for you. What do we make of this? 12 countries, including two of South Asia's most powerful, called out by the UK Parliament for targeting their own people abroad on UK soil. Allegations of surveillance. Now, these are serious allegations. Surveillance, threats, digital harassment, even murder attempt. Echoing from the, streets of Birmingham, London, all the way back to Lahore, Ludhiana, New Delhi, Islamabad. India forcefully rejecting the report in its recent statement that I mentioned earlier, calling it biased and based on dubious sources, etc. And Pakistan for now silent, perhaps hoping the story will pass. But it shouldn't. Because if states can reach across oceans to muzzle dissent, to intimidate exiled critics and dissidents, to tell you that you are never really free, even after you have fled, then we must ask, what is left of exile? What is left of safety? What is left of freedom? This report doesn't offer the answers, but it demands better questions of governments, of diaspora communities, and of democratic allies who look the other way when all of this is happening. So let's not look away. Let's keep watching. Let's keep asking. Let's keep unraveling. Let's keep unraveling. Thank you for watching. If you found this episode insightful, please subscribe to our channel and share this video in your networks and your friends. And don't forget to respond to the questions we have pinned in the comments below. Until next time, this is Marvi Sirmed signing off. Have a good one.